in around 92, 93, the internet started to emerge in the US. And I said, wouldn't it be great if I can go back to India and maybe be early there in bringing the whole internet ecosystem to the country.
It's because you, the soul, have come with that destiny already. So our destiny is never of one lifetime. Right now, suppose I have to leave the body right now. Everything that I have done in this body, it's already there with me, accumulated.
My dad, I got a credit. I mean, he was a small entrepreneur, small industrialist, but he had the vision at that point in time. I mean, if you made money as a small businessman, you'd probably buy a bigger house. He actually, in those days, imported a PC for me in India.
The role of parents, where a young mind is going to make this decision to jump into something which is more unknown, something that is driven by the gut. Earlier, most parents used to, especially when you're looking at safety net, say get a job, from a government job to now, okay, get a private sector job, to now actually go there and become an entrepreneur.
Now, why would a father, instead of buying a bigger house for the family, choose to import a PC? What is coming into our life like your father bringing that PC? Why is every parent did not get it for their child at that time? So because your karmic account had this about playing this role of doing this for the country.
A very warm welcome to another edition of the Think Right podcast. And today we're going to touch upon a very interesting subject that is going to excite the young minds, not only in India, but around the world. But I'm using the word excitement a little cautiously because along with excitement, it is actually going to see how to empower the young mind to be able to deal with situations of various types as they go through a journey in a world that is getting more uncertain, which is getting more complex, but still one that is going to create massive opportunities to create a better world. So with that context, we're going to talk about truly the entrepreneurial journey of young minds, and who better than someone who has pioneered that in India, himself being an entrepreneur first, and then as the founding partner of Accel in India, actually led this generation of entrepreneurship along with his partners, along with this entire institution that has built the Swiggys and the Flipkarts, and I can go on, BookMyShow and Freshworks, and so many companies that all of us today recognize as household brands. A very warm welcome to you, Prashanth Prakash. And, again, first, let me begin with your congratulations on your Padma Shri that you have got this year for your deep contribution, to really unlocking the potential of entrepreneurship in India, because there's nothing like, getting a young person excited about the future of their life and also giving them some sense of being able to shape, the lives of their families, their consumers, and eventually the country. And it's such an exciting thought that young minds can carry. And I think today's conversation, we really want you to lead us, through a little bit of that journey of entrepreneurship here and see how, we can enlighten and enrich those minds. And of course, we are really blessed to have with us our guiding light for this entire journey of Think Right, to really enable this generation to be able to, understand the power that lies within. Sister Shivani, thank you and warm welcome to both of you. And we're going to make this conversational. We're going to ask questions like how young people like it, keep it as direct and straightforward. But, let me begin with you, Prashanth. You've seen this entrepreneurship journey, in India in so many different ways, right? Like today where we are, right? And how we are looking at this. How is your experience, from an entrepreneur turned investor, turned nurturing other, entrepreneurs, kind of panned out, over these few years?
Firstly, I think it's both an honor and a fortune to be here with Sister Shivani. And of course, our relationship goes way back, Rajan, and it's great to share the same few minutes, hours right now together to explore, like you said, what is really very central to the future of modern India, right? Which is how do we build for a country? And while we are in this entrepreneurial journey of building for the country as people, right, as young minds, how do we do it in a mindful way, and where we are able to balance this complex web of the business imperatives, the complexity of what we are trying to do, and the relationships that we are in. So that's I'm hoping what we'll be able to discuss. Now, going back to your question, I think we are still a very young, nascent nation when it comes to this modern. I mean, of course, there have been great entrepreneurs in this country all the while, right? But it's in the last maybe 15, 17 years with the advent of companies like Flipkart, we have seen this new trend where a lot of young minds are staying back in our country and building for our country, and not going to another country and building globally, and I think both are important. But I think we did not have a critical mass of entrepreneurs who stayed back in our country and were willing to build for our country. And so we've really, in the last 15 years, seen a groundswell of entrepreneurial talent. And now I can say that we are pretty much number 3 globally, but we can become really a leader when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurial startup activity in India and globally.
When you have led this entire nation's largest gathering of startups, the startups mahakumbh, and in a way, we've seen a mahakumbh also where it brought together people to build inner resilience. And I think building resilience is so important. While one goes through a journey, because these are longest journeys and painful journeys, and we'll deconstruct another journey a little bit more together.
Yeah, there are multiple stages in this entrepreneurial journey, and I'm happy to kind of give you.
But he was going to share his journey first.
My journey.
Would love to
So
hear
my
your
journey, I'll have to say that there are really very pivotal moments in one's life, and for me, maybe the early 2 pivotal moments is when you trying to make a decision, what career you need to take up, and I was I was not a brilliant student at class, so I don't think I was one of those students who was topping my grades or topping my classes. But as I kind of got into college, I started to really gain a lot of interest in technology, and the personal computer had just got launched. I'm talking early 80s. And my dad, I got to credit, I mean, he was a small entrepreneur, small industrialist, but he had the vision at that point in time to maybe what's common is to do if you've made money as a small businessman, you'll probably buy a bigger house. Or he actually, in those days, imported a PC for me in India, right? And that materially changed. I mean, there was no, this is before the Shiva PC days. And so you couldn't buy a personal computer in this early 80s, right? So I really got a head start from that. And that kind of set this, maybe my own personal way in which I deal with life, where I try to see, okay, are you being part of something which in the next 10 years will materially define, business, define the focus of the world and people in general. So I've tried to kind of use that as a frame for myself. So every 10 years, I kind of redefine and say, what's really the most important thing that I should focus on that is useful for me, my nation, and the world in large for the next 10 years, if I put my energy into something like that. So it started with that investment that my dad did. And then, of course, like all other folks, you think that US is the right place for you to pursue your career. So after college, I did my graduation there in the US. But after working in the industry there for 2 to 3 years, something, and this is, this idea of gut and intuition being so central. And, I would like to also later talk to Sister Shivani that how does one be driven more by that and not overthink, and which you talk about, and get consumed by worry and anxiety. So, but that clarity of thought at that point in time, that, what, maybe if I went back to India, because the internet had just, so we went from an era where we just got the PC to where in around 92, 93, the internet started to emerge in the US. And I said, wouldn't it be great if I can go back to India and maybe be early there in bringing the whole internet ecosystem to the country. And that was and I need to really say that my wife, Amita, it's not common. I was married then, I had a child in the US, and Amita. So a lot of my friends, my peers there, had some of the same aspirations, but the wives were never supportive of going back to the country, right? So, but Amita was very supportive and said, "Yeah, let's go back and see how we can rebuild our lives there." And the comforts of the US were okay, but what can we do to pursue what I wanted to do, which is be an entrepreneur in India. And that's how I came back and started India's first internet company, Netkraft, and the rest, of course.
So that's the beauty, the role of family,
Yeah.
the role of parents. When a young mind is going to make this decision, like what Prashanth is saying, to jump into something which is more unknown, something that is driven by the gut, the ecosystem that supports it. And earlier, most parents used to, especially, when you're looking at safety net, say get a job, from a government job to now, okay, get a private sector job, to now actually go there and become an entrepreneur. So, like you were saying, how does one make that decision? Or how should
The family or his decision?
His or her, whoever.
At that moment when you have to have clarity of thought to be able to pursue something that...
It's about priority. It's less about this. Actually, all our decisions are based on priority only. So if someone says, my priority is I want to lead a comfortable life in whichever country they are in, then they're not even going to create an option of another thought. And if the thought arises, I say, no, that seems very difficult. And then they have 10 reasons to say, Bharat mein ye theek nahi hota, where startup, this, and they will just push it aside. So it's all about priority. Taking a decision is very easy. It is the prioritizing which is important, and nobody's right or wrong. Everybody's priorities will be different. So someone has chosen a priority. I want to live there and I want to give my wife, my children, and my comfortable life. Fine. And someone has taken a decision that what I have got, I can see very clearly that it has yet not begun in the country. So maybe that time, I don't know whether the intention was so that I can do something for the country, but also as a business prospect, that it is some product which is not in the country. So instead of being here where almost everybody already has it, why not take it to my country? So it's really prioritizing, but knowing very well this will not be easy. So he's prioritized and he's taken a decision to live a comfortable life, to start a life which we already know will have not only just challenges, maybe hardships, maybe don't even know whether there's success lined up there. So it just depends on the sanskar of the soul. So some people will choose a relatively simpler path. Some people love going on difficult route.
But how does one get started
to taking that decision? It will come innately to you because it is matching with your sanskar. It's like there's a wardrobe. There are 10 shirts there. You send 10 people to choose. And automatically they will move towards a particular style or color because that choice matches with their innate sanskar, who they are as a person. And nobody is right or wrong. Everything is just a choice. But it will just match with the personality I am. Even in any setup that we are, some people will choose to live, okay, no, why too much get into complications? It's going fine. I can lead my life like this. It's fine. That is their choice. A very simple safe and secure path. And somebody would like to navigate through hardships, don't even know whether there's a dead end there, but still are ready. So it is all going to be depending on your sanskar, the innate nature, which you, the soul, has also carried from past births. It's not a this birth sanskar. It is not a this. You would have been like this as a person right from the beginning. You have not become like that. It is you, the soul. It has come with that sanskar. It's innate. It's your sanskar. So one, it comes from our past. Second, your family influence. Now, why would a father, instead of buying a bigger house for the family, choose to import a PC? That itself reflects his sanskar, right? So it's not a small decision. It's a very big decision to make. So it's coming from two. One, it's coming from our innate sanskar, but it's also influence of parents. Had he not taken that decision, again, your path would have been different. So sometimes when something is a part of our karmic account, everything just falls into place for around us. Then to have a wife also who supports that decision, it's because you, the soul, have come with that destiny already. So our destiny is never of one lifetime. Right now, suppose I have to leave the body right now. Everything that I have done in this body, it's already there with me, accumulated as a big bundle of my karma and my destiny. It can't just stop like this abruptly if I just leave this body right now. So then it just continues. I only will change the body. But all my good karma and all my mistakes coming with me as a bundle, and there my choices will again start depending on what I'm carrying from here. So we are not about one life. Our life is not about one life. Our life is about who we have been and what we have done on a journey. We just keep changing this. It's like the dress we wear. We change it every day, but we continue on the journey. Similarly, the body we change every 80, 100 years and the journey continues.
Yeah, like a rolling stone.
It's a journey it's my journey. It's not the body's journey. It's my journey. So I am not dying. Only I'm using this costume for a number of years.
Right.
Costume not working, I change the costume, my journey continues. So it's an innate sanskar and it's everyone's is going to be different.
So creating that little gap, as you always say, between you and the
That's
family
always
is
important.
a very powerful thing that's sustained. But having got to this point that one has made the decision, jumping into entrepreneurship, now getting in there, there are three phases, at least the way I think Prashanth and we could probably see it. The first phase is the early days, the challenge of putting
there's a lot of chaos and
raising capital, whatever you need to do. Then second would be scaling it. And then finally, after you have achieved success, navigating it is also. So we can talk about all these
three phases and how challenges one.
And what challenges and what should be the state of mind, what should be, so maybe your journey is perfect.
Yeah, so
the early days. What were the worries?
Correct. The early days, it's always about where is the money going to come. Right? Every business needs capital. And then, again, I'm now taking a leaf from what Shivani said. You just connect with the right people. And
two things are coming. What's coming to you, the people, your father's support, your wife's support, all this is whatever comes like this was sent out by me before.
Right.
So we say the ball goes out, it's a karma. The ball coming back is destiny. But when they support you and when they do this, what you will do with it now is going to be your present karma. So everything is not about past karma.
Understood.
What is coming into our life, like your father bringing that PC? Why is every parent did not get it for their child at that time? So because your karmic account had this about playing this role of doing this for the country. So you got it. That was based on past karma. What you did with it now,
that's
it
your
will be your present karma. So both are going hand in hand. So they will automatically come into your life.
So those initial connections, usually it's the co-founder. I mean, who do you partner with is really important. The first investor that you are able to bring on board, because that investor is going to be with you through the journey. I think that's very important initially. But I think what's really material is the team you build in the early days. And you need a lot of capabilities in being able to articulate your vision and being able to, demonstrate that you're in it for the long run, and that there is a larger vision and purpose beyond just just creating yet another business. So in the early days, folks who can really show that the big picture and the enormity of the challenge that they're taking up, and that they want good partners in that journey. I think I've seen that is what materially changes the trajectory of companies, being able to attract the first 4, 5, 10 people other than your co-founder.
So the early days would be like a foundation of the house. We should not hurry up to decorate the house. We have a lifetime to decorate the house. We can even renovate the house on and off. We can even bring it all down and pick it. But the foundation is under the ground. You don't go and break that again. So, right now what people do, we just want to do it fast and get those results. But once that foundation is strong,
yes, you can't undo some of that.
You can't undo some of that.
Therefore, the people you bring
on board.
You might flip your business
Your
model.
You can.
But
tomorrow you can change what you're doing also.
Yeah.
And also principles. The principles go into the foundation. What you can call ethics, you can call principles, you can call this is how we will be. What we will do can change. What we will do can change. How we will be should not change. And so that principle will be first because if you're starting it, this is what today's corporate world will call vision statement or mission, but it has to be, these are my principles. I will not compromise on this. Then your people, whether it's your investor, whether it's your they have to align with the principle. If you don't align on the principle, it's a lifetime of conflict and maybe not being able to go on together for a very long time. We can have difference of opinion, but not difference in principles. Difference of opinion always, the husband and wife will also have difference of opinion. Difference of opinion is fine, but not difference in principles. So always we have to have those people who match with my principles.
Also, those principles and values in your journey get tested.
Always.
Because sometimes I think you come together on but there are external pressures. Tomorrow when you're struggling, your wife will say, you know what, just drop it, or because others
or
also
just compromise on it, even if you don't have to be even a compromise. So success would not be that, okay, we achieved it. Success is if you held on to that compass and you never let go of that compass on this journey, even if everything seemed to shake.
Yeah.
And then decision making becomes very easy. Decision making is very easy in life, but decision making becomes difficult only because when we're ready to compromise on our principles, then I have 10 options. But if I stick to principles, I actually have only one option most of the time to take a decision. So life is very easy if we first work on the foundation, don't hurry, work only on the foundation. Say this time is only for foundation. And in that, everybody gets aligned with same principles. Anything changes, we're not dropping the principle. That's how we have to be strict on the principle. And then the principle becomes the stronger foundation. If you're ready to compromise, you can achieve, but your own energy will not work and your karma will not go right. The karma doesn't go right. So receiving success is also actually a lot of part of what karma I have created in the process of creating it. So I think foundation, if you work right, the rest of the thing is easier.
Part of that foundation process is giving time, like Sister Shivani is saying, in how you build your product, right? So if you take something to market that is not really ready, that you just aren't giving yourself the best shot. So I've seen entrepreneurs, quickly be led by vanity metrics of just creating revenue so that you raise your next round, get funded. But your product is shallow, your product is hollow, and very soon that's going to, you're going to hit a ceiling. So that being able to really spend the time in building product, I think is extremely important.
Because there is always a discussion, right? You should be quick to fail. So get an MVP out there and test it. But in that problem, we forget it's a minimum viable product.
Exactly. It's
right?
Minimum viable.
It cannot become the product because if it gets tested, then you still go back
Yeah.
to work on. Many people then take that MVP and keep growing, and the foundation is somewhere. So we have to, in any way, come back always to that foundation. And I think you have to test that along the journey. That yes, is my foundation strong? What more can I do? Like if you look at a plant, can I put a little more manure? Can I put a little more water to keep it, right? And I think once we have the foundation,
Right.
then comes the next phase of the journey.
Just to kind of move to the next phase.
Yeah.
So feel you built a great product, you've got success. Companies get sometimes, how the startup world
It's got funded.
We got funded not only one round but multiple rounds of funding, and then we get into what we call as the growth phase, right? So we are starting to scale and grow. Then really, as a leader, the complexity really grows. The number of stakeholders that you deal with, and that's where a little bit of this balance between ambition and relationships. You start seeing some conflicts there, and you start also seeing things go out of depth for you. I mean, you have not dealt with these situations and dealt with these complexities. So the growth and scale phases I've seen is where people first start getting tested. Their leadership capabilities, their ability to balance personal life, and because you get so consumed with that dopamine of growth that you're feeling so good because everybody is saying, "Oh, wow, your business is doing great." It's like every day is a new high, and you're losing something. You're losing family, maybe you're losing relationships, maybe. So that losing self. So maybe I want you to talk about what's happening.
Family and relationships we lose only after we've lost the self. Because as you said, it's going high very fast, and I associate my identity with that, right?
Yes.
So it's suddenly my innate feeling of happiness is no more now my own creation. It's only dependent on how the graph is moving. So it's so addictive that everything else is secondary. And after that, everything else, everybody you tell them you'll be happy. No, we are doing so well. So look at the graph and be happy about it. It's a stimulus which is becoming responsible for the emotion that we are creating. And we don't find the need to center ourselves because we think the graph will always go this way. So I'm happy. I'm doing well. I'm happy. But then come the other issues of whether it's relationships, and we don't have that emotional strength to handle those because we're only used to a perfect life because the graph is going perfect. It has other aspects that are going to come into our life. But do we have that emotional resilience to be able to adjust, to bend, to let go, to handle other people who are not going to be our way? It requires so much emotional strength that we were not working on it because our emotional self only got dependent on the achievement. So dependency is a depleter. So separate yourself from your achievement. That's an achievement of the business which you are a part of. You are different. So when you separate what I'm doing and the being, then I strengthen the being, nurture the being, then actually even do that business like a giver, not like a consumer, that I am experiencing self-worth and I'm experiencing happiness because this. No, I'm only contributing. I've become an instrument only to be able to contribute for that. But for that, I need to strengthen myself on a daily basis. So dependency is the first depleter. And once I'm dependent on that achievement graph and I start depleting, then the ability to handle relationships is not easy. And then if something happens to that graph on which I'm dependent totally, then it's not, then it's tougher.
Yeah.
Person makes the same resilience which was getting you there suddenly flips to dependency on the other.
So any thoughts here, sister, in terms of this idea of mindfulness? We keep hearing a lot about it, even in the entrepreneurial world. So that ability, is there some tools you recommend for one to be more aware of the self?
Most important to understand the need for it. Tools, everybody can find what's comfortable for them. It's like someone can climb the Everest, but I can't. Why I cannot? Because first, I didn't think about it. Second, I don't have any intent for it. Third, I've not worked.
So the intentions matter.
The intention, but effort also on that. training, hard work, building up your strength, building up your stamina. Then you start climbing. If someone has to just start climbing, they'll collapse. Not even they wouldn't have climbed. So startup is like an interesting idea.
Right.
It's like you see somebody is a successful actor. So many people in the country want to become actors then. You say somebody is a successful cricketer. I also want to play cricket for the country. It's easy to say that just because you're seeing somebody and you're seeing all that adulation and everything. But you don't know the journey through which they have gone. And second, you don't know that if 12 people are playing in the Indian cricket team, then there are thousands and thousands or maybe lakhs and lakhs who have not been able to reach there. And I have to see what it is needed. I may reach there, may not reach there, but do I have the strength to cope up with that? Same thing is happening with this startups thing. We see a few who've become big names. You see, I also want to become like that. But then I have to work on that emotional resilience. So before we get into working on the business, it has to begin with working on the self. So in spite of the fact that we're extremely engaged and we don't have time for anything, don't do it if you're not going to keep at least an hour for yourself daily.
Got it.
That hour is your
Should one
foundation.
in that hour? What should one do in that hour?
Each one will choose on their own, but first of all, to prioritize a healthy lifestyle. Again, startup means late night, working in the night, coming home late. See, all this is not going to build your emotional resilience. Your graph may go high, but your emotional resilience is collapsing. And if your emotional resilience is collapsing and here comes a challenge, not even a crisis, a challenge, you don't have the strength because you said, I was just so busy building. So if it's like, if somebody wants to become a singer, if somebody wants to become a dancer, if somebody wants to be, they lead extremely disciplined lives. Extremely self-disciplined lives. Nobody without self-discipline can reach that stage where they have reached. So for a startup, they have to lead a very, very disciplined life. They cannot say, no, I don't get time to sleep on time. Okay, then you won't. Then it's a short-term thing. And if suppose it doesn't go exactly how...
Yeah, you've given up a lot for something.
Yeah. So self-discipline will need to be the first step of the foundation. That if I want to reach there, that achiever, it means I sleep early, I wake up early, I work on myself, mind and body both, which means I allocate 1 or 2 hours for myself on a daily basis. And that is my foundation. So don't say that's a waste of time that I'm doing this. This is a part of what you are going to do. This is a part of your startup. This is not separate. This is not personal. This is professional. This is needed for your profession that you have just. If you had chosen a job that you go to office, go at 9 o'clock and come back at 7, 8, it's fine. Don't take out that much time. You'll be able to handle that little stress that comes with the job. You've not taken up a job. You've chosen to start something where so many people will be responsible on you. It's so much here. You can't just get up and just sit with the phone, idle here and there and go to office. No, you can't. So that self-discipline is part of profession, not personal anymore for them. Anyone who's doing that kind of a thing. And each one start with your morning meditation, your morning spiritual study. If you're going to do without spiritual study, then your ethics, your principles, your karma foundation, your ability to adapt, your ability to adjust, your ability to take people together with you will not be very high because you're not strengthening the soul. So startup or anybody else who's going to do is like a karam yogi. You have to do karam, but it should be in a yogi state. Yogi state means high vibrational state. You can't be panicking and stressed because you're not alone. You have a lot of people with you. So self-discipline and that healthy lifestyle will have to be a compulsory part of their life, not an option.
So we hear a lot about this karma yoga thing. Maybe you can tell us a little.
There are 2 words.
Steve Jobs says he's
No, a lot of people. So we hear it.
There are 2 words, yogi and bhogi.
Right.
So bhogi means suffering and yogi means elevated.
Right.
So it's not about what you're wearing in yogi, like how we look at it. It's a vibrational word. So bhogi means I'm at a lower energy and yogi means that I'm a higher energy. So which means stress, aggression, fear, worry, jealousy, criticism, comparison, ego. These are lower energies.
Right.
So if I'm living on that vibration, which means I'm creating those scars more often, then I'm at a lower energy. And most of us are on a lower energy right now. But what has happened is the world has started calling that as normal. So we say stress normal, anger normal, worry normal. So we are here. And yogi would mean humility. So the higher goes the graph, humility should go higher than
Very
that.
important point.
If you want to be strong, if ego goes higher with that, take care. Because it's very difficult, very difficult. So ego will be on the bhogi side, humility will be on the yogi side. Stress will be here, calm and stability will be here. Anger will be here, empathy will be here. Comparison will be here, cooperation will be here. Complaining will be here, gratitude will be here.
So in the context of work, doing all of this is karma.
Yeah, so this, being like this while in action.
While in action. Understood.
So karam is in action. And being on a high vibration state is a karam yogi. So then you're not just an achiever, but you're a leader. Leader because you're radiating that high vibrational energy to everyone. Then getting people together, putting people together, having a good relationship. It's all easy. It's very easy. And most important for a karam yogi is their happiness will not be dependent on their success. Once your happiness is not dependent on your success, you're safe. You are safe because then you're doing your work as a giver, not as a consumer. Because yogi will be like this and bhogi will be like this. So, you're able to sustain even if it goes through a highs and lows. Second, you prioritize self-care because you know I want to be a yogi. Karam is only what I'm doing. So, priorities are very sorted. And still, if something goes not right the way you want to be, you have all the strength to be able to face it and to make it, create it all over again.
A related thing that I've seen with businesses that are more enduring and resilient over time is where this purpose, this bigger purpose is very clear for the founder and it is not short term. So this real ambition is really finding that purpose.
And also it's need of the hour. Business should be with an intent of giving to the world.
Right, right.
That intention is most important. That whatever we are creating, is it building a healthier Bharat and a healthier world? Because the money is coming from there. Your family is getting nurtured with that wealth. And that wealth, if it is not healthy for the world or for the country, then it's not healthy for you.
No, I think this is also, I'm starting to see that more and more entrepreneurs are getting more aligned to building socially relevant. And even if you're building something which is mainstream, can you make it more friendly to our planet and make it more friendly to our society?
It should be healthy for the minds of the people.
Also, first, yeah.
First.
Yes.
There is lots happening in the world right now which has influenced the minds of the planet.
You're saying first priority.
First is the mind, then is the body, then is the planet. First, because everybody needs to be compassionate towards the planet. But we don't have the strength to be compassionate towards the planet because we're not even carrying that strength. Because our mind is getting depleted. So first, my business product should be beneficial to society, not harmful. That is first ethic. And so many things will just get filtered. Even if it's just something what I eat, it's something what I watch, everything. Something that I'm sitting on. It should be healthy, not just fancy. So that should be first priority because their wealth is coming from there. So your wealth should not come at the cost of somebody else's pain.
So human development has actually gone from that, right? Where everything was in conjunction with nature, natural. Our imagination went, we kept creating more complexity.
And what was getting created was for the goodness. That intent was very clear. That, okay, like he said, I want to give internet to Bharat. So there is an intent. So even if I'm creating a food product, is that giving health to the children who are going to eat that? If I don't think about that and I only say, oh, but so much is selling, everybody is buying, then you are ready to earn wealth at the cost of children losing their health. So that's also a
these are words we hear, conscious capitalism.
Yes,
yes. But they are outliers. They are not
social entrepreneurship
or social. They are considered. Some dimensions of this. But how do we integrate?
But this I think the point I took away is that if you prioritize the mind, prioritize the wellness of the mind, no matter what business you do, will be socially good.
Correct.
right?
Because your conscious will not allow you to do the other thing.
And it will be right for everybody.
Yeah.
If you're able. And most important, because as we're talking of this journey, you scale, you get success, you get this, your ego goes higher.
Right.
You tend to, but you still can't give up the courage. So you need to be humble, but you still need to be courageous. But that source of that courage will come from the state of being.
The more you are humble, the more courage you will have. Courage is strength. Courage is strength, actually. So you have that strength.
And this during growth phases, and especially when you get to the pinnacle of whatever business you are in, I've seen that that humility, that ability to be in touch with yourself. And I think you alluded to it before, but I really want to emphasize that I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, and I mean, that's where your decline starts.
See, ego is like a tree. If there's a storm, it will uproot the tree. But if there's a blade of grass, it will just bend and the storm will pass away. So that ability to bend, a tree cannot bend. This blade of grass, so this ability to bend is humility. And then any storm, it will pass and the grass will get stand like this. The tree will get uprooted. So humility is power. But we have to understand that humility. I should be able to see this as ego. Ego cannot even take one wrong word from people. So that's how low our emotional resilience goes. So humility.
And humility, it's very easy to say, I am humble. But it is for people to sense. It comes in your presence.
It's two words.
When you're in front of a humble person, you feel the humility or the power.
No, it's very easy to check whether I'm humble or I'm egoist. It's two words, Abhiman and Apman. So Abhiman is ego. And Abhiman would mean, मैंने बोला आपको अभी अभी मानना पड़ेगा. Everything should go my way. So that is ego. When things are not my way. And जो अभिमान जिसको होगा, उसको अपमान बहुत जल्दी feel होगा. So anything not my way, anything somebody has said which is not my way, someone said about me, I'll not be able to take it. So Abhiman and Apman. So just keep checking how often you feel Apman. That's how higher your Abhiman is. And as you work on yourself, you will say, Acha, this thing I did not get affected, that thing I did not get affected. That means your Abhiman is going low and your Namrata is increasing. So Abhiman and Apman, very easy to check. Keep
and it's not that one goes other. It's
it's journey. It's life. Journey.
And entrepreneurs is the thing everyone should do.
I like the
get
tool.
Huh?
These are all small tools.
It's a very good tool.
How to check? Because in emotional health, there's no parameter, other thing to. So you have to have your thing. How much am I getting affected by people's behaviors towards me? Someone didn't do it my way. Someone didn't listen to me. Maybe just the person who's driving your car. Even to say instruction is fine, discipline is fine, but when they're not my way, do I get affected here? Then that's my ego which is getting hit. And on the deeper level, if we see the word ego it is attachment to a wrong image of myself. Which means when I consider this body, my name, my fame, my business, my thing, to be my identity. So that is ego. And when I remember I'm a soul, that is opposite of ego. So the more we practice soul consciousness, we will not have to do anything to be humble. Humility will automatically happen because you remember who you are, you remember your journey, you remember that you're just here. Your karma, what you're doing is your only property. Everything else will remain behind. What's our only property? Is only our karma and sanskar. Everything here can finish in 1 minute. So soul consciousness will always keep you reminded. So humility.
And we see this. Everybody experiences this multiple times in a way. We know the source of all our physicality is something which is non-physical. Moment that leaves the body, we see, we go to a funeral and becomes ash and there's nothing. But we still attach our entire value to that identity, to that body, to that, knowing it, right? Every time we get reminded, then we say, yes, but how do you...
But we're living in a world. We're living in a world which is only talking about this. That is why that morning half an hour of spiritual study is very important.
To remind yourself.
Every single day, like at the Brahma Kumaris, 365 days of the year, I will study every morning and everyone who comes, I'm a soul on a journey. So I cannot forget, even if you wake me up in the middle of the night, I'll say, I'm a soul on a journey. So, it's not that you're doing it, it's just that you're studying it every day. So anything that you will study every day and you will experience it, you don't have to do anything then.
And in today's time, it's probably more important because everything else that is happening for the rest of those 23 and a half hours, besides your sleep time, and sometimes you carry that into your sleep as well, it's all telling you otherwise, because you're getting so caught into, with today's media, this, people, that you need that half an hour. So I think every entrepreneur should be investing that, that time to help them navigate.
And this is probably what we call, or people keep referring as mindfulness, right? So
it's self-management.
Self-management.
Before you're going to manage people and before you're going to manage work, it's self-management. Like earlier in Bharat, before becoming the king, you had to go to the Gurukul to learn Swarajya. So first Swarajya, then Rajya. You cannot go and do Rajya before Swarajya. So self-rule before you're going to rule your state or your city. So you're going to rule your business. You're going to rule a team. Rule means you're going to lead a team. How without being able to lead yourself? So you can't manage other people without managing yourself. So Swarajya will come first. Rajya will come after that. So leadership second. Self-leadership, self-management first.
So 3 situations which constantly we see, which leads to this whole mental well-being problem. One, like I said, as part of success, you lose touch with family, it takes a toll because you think you become somebody else and something else is less important for you. Second is when there is an adversity and, there is failure. People go into a depression, and you just alluded to it in the beginning of the conversation. And some people can come out of the depression, come back, but some unfortunately get into a very different negative spiral. And third, the idea that you're superhuman and you can work as much as you. It's in your control and leads to burnout. So these are the 3 situations I've seen, Sister Shivani.
Because without the self-care. So self-care should actually be mandatory for everybody. But anyone who's planning to do something bigger, then it should be, they should not have an option actually. You should not have an option. It's again like creating a house without creating the foundation. How? That is not an option. So you don't have an option. So that's something which has to be underlined.
As companies grow, being able to prioritize this culture of well-being and culture of self-care.
Yeah, it needs to start from school first.
Yeah.
Then it should be in every college and university. Then it should be in every professional college from where we were having these people coming out to start these. But it's not even those startup. Even a normal job is not very easy for the human mind.
Yeah. So I'm sure.
I think it's compulsory for everybody, but anyone who's going to do something more, which is, see, a job is still easier. Suppose I'm not able to handle it. I still have the option, quit, take it up somewhere else. Now, of course, we don't know what we're going to see in the next coming years, but still. But once you've started something, then your whole soul responsibility. So you can't, it's not your whims and fancies, okay, shut this down, go somewhere. It's not like that. Moral responsibility, karma responsibility. So if you just dedicate time for yourself, remembering very well that this is a part of the business. We say, no, this is too selfish, just sitting all the morning like this. No, it's for a part of the business that I'm going to do.
It's not work life. Right? Yeah. It is work. Your life is part of the work. We keep talking balance, and therefore we find a lot of entrepreneurs, Prashanth, pure entrepreneurs, never actually, who have achieved success, often talk about my life and work are, integrated, right? They don't create this word balance. I think the word is harmony, right? Because if you harmonize your work through your life, your family, your everything automatically falls into place.
But if you don't, in which vibration you're living, you have to be at that end.
I think instead of balance, one looks at harmony and it is integrated as one. I think it's a very important part for people to realize.
Actually, priority again, 3 words: work, family, self. Now put it in the right priority.
Work, family.
These are the 3 aspects of our life, no?
Yeah.
Work, family, self. And self will also have 2 parts: mind, body.
Friends. People will add friends.
Add it in the relationship. So how are we going to put these 3? What's the order? So today people have put it as work, family, self, and that method is not working. That method is not working. It has to be self, family, work. Self is the seed. Self is the seed. Then the self means here, the seed. Then from there, my body is the trunk. That needs to be healthy. And then starts my family and then goes to my work. And then all your achievements are all the fruits and the flowers that come on your tree. But if you want those fruit and flowers to be long-term healthy and beautiful, the seed has to be nourished every single day. So first, the quality of the seed has to be right before you even start that. And then that seed has to be nurtured every single day. So today we are washing the tree. We're just taking care of the tree. We don't take care of the tree so much. We just have to nurture the seed. The tree will automatically be healthy.
And Prashanth, to your point, for those who face relationship issues during growth, and this is very common, right? I mean, everywhere in the world, and even professionals, once they give, then the trunk suffers, right? So you might see a beautiful tree, but then at some stage in your life, you feel the hollowness. You feel that you look back on life and you say, you know what? I missed that. I missed that phase. So you'll still have a tree, but there will be something which will, but if you go the seed, this and nurture the seed, trunk and tree, I think will.
And nurture the seed daily. Nurture. It's like a plant. You have to just go and water the seed. You don't have to, wash every leaf and every fruit.
Maybe one way to remember that the source of the tree is always that seed. You can't forget. Like many people look back where they started, what they happened, when they've hit, and they feel joyful of that. But during that journey, they miss that part, And so connecting with, your starting point, I think, or yourself is so important. I think
it's
in this journey.
It's the same equation, sankalp se srishti. So the sankalp is the seed, the srishti is the tree. So you have to work on the sankalp. The srishti will be taken care of.
What we also
So that sankalp is the seed and the seed is the soul.
So the intention and purpose is really part.
No, every sankalp also. One is you start with that intention, but throughout
then
the day,
you do.
Throughout the day. So that's why this is bhogi, this is yogi. My every sankalp, is it coming out of a bhogi state?
Right.
Or it's coming out of a yogi state, that's going to create my srishti. So my srishti would be the health of my body first. Then second, my srishti will be my family. Then it will be the people at work. And then it will be the actual work. So that is the tree, the srishti. But what's the quality of that leader's sankalp?
Great.
So
I think this is.
No, we can keep going on.
But I think we've, thank you.
But this is something you should make it mandatory with all these people. Even if it means, like how you're having the mahakumbh. So when you get them all together in one place, then it's kind of, we have to talk about what we have to do, but there should be some time to talk about how we have to be. Because again, everybody's looking at only the small number who are those brands that we are using today.
Yeah.
But what about those big numbers? What about those big numbers? Not that they were not able to make it is not a problem. But they'll be able to do something else. But what happened to them as a person is what has to be talked about. So it's again, you will only know 10, 20 people who become top actors. What happened to the others who wanted to become? Doesn't matter if they're doing something else, but emotionally and mentally, are they fine? This is our karma. This is our karma to see, because we are encouraging people to do this. So we will also have to take care that if someone falls on the way, then we are also responsible, because we told them to run that.
Yeah. So, it's running a marathon in 400-meter sprints. Yeah. And, testing your stamina and everything as you build, towards, completing one phase of what you say, this bodily identity. And then you go into, something else. So I think
just emotional strength needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
No, but I think we covered at least a lot of what entrepreneurs in their journey go throh.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want the words depression and anything more than that. And of course, some then which is a stage where burnout, but then it's also suicide. So what do you do? So a child, a student, topping all their life, and then it's only lack of resilience that they go into depression. And then, or it would be any other issue, but you were not taking care of yourself. And then if something like that happens, then it's not just the journey of that soul, but it also the family. This is so much involved. We're only looking at the business. We're only looking at that business. What's happening to the rest of the family? What about the parents of that child who started that? So there is so much at stake there.
Wonderful conversation, but we'll move to this last segment, which we call Mindful Minute. Only 5 questions. People want to know you also a little better. And, some of your thoughts in some way, very simple things, One thing that you immediately notice in a pitch, when someone's pitching to you, what's that one thing you look for or you notice?
How soaked are they in the problem? Is this something that they just kind of at a very superficial level just thought about in the last 1 month, 2 months, or is this something that they've really internalized and now want to commit the next 10 years of their life to this? So because like we discussed in the beginning, this can keep evolving and changing. Are you ready for that, John?
Right. A misconception about VCs.
That we're not really true partners. I think there is of course there are all different kinds of VCs, but I think a good VC is one who's able to balance the fiduciary responsibility we have to the people who have given us money, and then the responsibility we have to making sure that all the stakeholders of the company are taken care of, including ourselves. So if we lose that perspective, that we have the responsibility to only one stakeholder, which is who's given us money, then I think you will then get the bad badge of a VC as a shark.
So that comes to the many entrepreneurs, when they achieve some success, start invest. What's harder, starting a company or investing in one?
No, I think I think it's always starting a company. There is nothing, and I myself have been on both sides, and I can say that being a founder is a lot more commitment, because you're actually giving up a lot, and you're committing to a lot. To actually to Shivani's point earlier, I mean, you're making a choice. You're making a choice, and that once you commit to the choice, you have to live with it for a long period of time, because there are other people who are going to depend on you and are going to be really expecting things out of you. So it's a much. But if I'm investing, well, yes, I'm giving you money. It's great. I mean, I have some expectations for that. But if I walk away, you still have a life. You still have a life, right? So investing is. I mean, I think there is some value to being a visionary investor, where you're able to spot a problem, an area, a space, or a sector before somebody else can, because then you're making something happen which may never happen in this world for a long. I mean, something will always happen. Humans will always do something, but have you accelerated something? Have you kind of made some, and hopefully in many cases, have you created something that has become a social good, right? That has moved humanity forward in the right direction. So you have an opportunity as an investor to influence that. So I guess that's how I think both have their place, but I think it's tougher but to be an entrepreneur.
Remote work fading out, here to stay?
I think fading out. I think my own thing is that humans are, we need connect, we need relationships, we need emotion, and that needs physical proximity, and technology has its role. But I think ultimately we have to find the balance.
And we'll end with, you are the icon of bringing technology to shape and change the world, right? If there's one global problem today that you think technology should solve for, what's that?
And this is what I've picked for the next 10 years, which is health.
Health.
Yeah, I think it is the center stone, cornerstone. And when I say health, I'll always keep in mind after this conversation, and to some extent I did before, that it is about the mind and the self, which is the epicenter of that.
The starting point and the starting point of that. We'll end with Sister Shivani's last word on your word, or your last one simple message to the young entrepreneur there. And of course, someone like Prashanth, who has been an angel in the lives of so many others. What is your last?
So learn from the angel and become angels to others. See, you get to learn from someone who's been able to do it for everybody else. But everything is also standing on who he is as a person. Everyone needs to see that. When we look at what people have achieved, just pause and look at who they are as a person. It's the person who becomes the achiever, not the doing. So look at the person, look at the sanskars of the person, look at the lifestyle of that person, and you will find many secrets there, which you won't see about, in your news talking about the business. So go and understand the person whom you're looking up to. Go and understand their lifestyle. It could not have happened without self-restraint, self-discipline, and ethics and principles. It cannot. Success will not come. Achievement can come without that. Success cannot come without that. So just learn from people. We've already got so much magic around. Just learn from them and create more magic for the country and the world.
The word, it's interesting you use that, because the startup industry is the one that has the angel investor there. I think hopefully, in today's conversation, we've been able to talk to two angels who have helped people who are going to get onto this journey discover what it takes to be able to give, have the right intent, and make a better world.
Thank
you, Prashanth,
for initiating
Shivani,
this,
for
for
this
giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too can start or enhance your mindfulness journey using the Think Right app on iOS and Android store. It's got a huge number of daily affirmations, daily journeys, daily meditations that will enable us to hold your hand as you move in this transformative journey of life.